but also was commissioned to do a statue of Grant Teaff at McMurry that'll be unveiled tomorrow afternoon about the time we start this show. Dan, thanks for your time. When did all that start? How does that go about? Who contacts you and kind of just being a part of that, making a statue about a guy that's a legend and an icon?
Well, David, I haven't looked for work in years. I've been privileged to receive a lot of calls on important commissions, but none of them has been more special than the one here for Coach Teaff. And, McMurray just decided that he was somebody that was a part of their history and lore that they needed to bring to the forefront, and couldn't allow that to be forgotten, just in the sands of time. So it's a wonderful kind of coming full circle for he and I. I met him when I was 19 years old and came here to play football at Baylor. I'd read his book, I Believe, and I wanted to play ball for a man like that. So that's how it began. And then here we are 45 years later, commemorating him where he began his coaching career at McMurray. He was the youngest football coach in America at the time.
So, Dan, will you, because he was the youngest coach, will it be a younger statue of Grant Teaff?
Yes. It'll be his age at the time of the McMurray plane crash. You're familiar with that, where all the players survived. The coaches and everyone survived the crash, and that was really where he kind of dedicated his coaching career to the Lord, and that was really the beginning of his story. So he was 1 month shy of 30 years old when that occurred, so I've captured him at that age.
So, Dan, how does the process work? Do you have, photo references? I would imagine you do, but, can you kind of take us through from the artist's point of view how you get the beginning stages going with creating a piece of art like this?
Well, there's several things you have to do. One, of course, gather as much photographic imagery that's from that period as possible. Meditate on that. You have to come up with a composition, and beyond that, you have to deal with the university regarding the location, and there's an installation that surrounds the sculpture itself that tells the whole story. So once you make the diamond, you get it cut, you've got to put it in the right setting. So lots of pieces have to fall into place, which, include working with an architect, which I love to do. I consider architects fellow artists, and university officials at McMurray have just been superior to work with. Had a great time with them.
So when you look at what I've seen the statue. Lane, his daughter, sent me a picture of it, and I was going to use it today, but I'd rather not because I think that they put a tarp over it for the unveiling tomorrow, and it's unbelievable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to put it up there for a second or two, but I'd rather them. I know it's been on campus, but I was going to. It's fantastic, and it is a young version, of course, of Grant Teaff as well. How long does it take to do that? How long does it take to put together the body part of the sculpture?
Well, I'm fond of telling people, David, it only took 35 years. That's how long I've been doing this. Start to finish, I'm working on other projects at the same time. I would say if I just isolated hours, 7-8 months probably. Because, any artist that's any good has a waiting list, and, it's a pretty small fraternity of us that excel at this. And, I had the Medal of Honor statues at Baylor that was ahead of it. So, I was committed to Baylor contractually to finish that before I began coach. So that's why, start to finish, we probably started 3 years ago on this with a contract. And it's taken this long just to get to that project. And of course, I was going to give it all the time that it deserved. So, but I'm very happy with how this turned out. It's one of the best pieces I've ever done.
You mentioned the Medal of Honors with John Kane and Jack Loomis. How much did that mean to you? And it's right there on the concourse at McLean Stadium. It's amazing, and that was not, but just recently when that was, of course, when they were unveiled. How, just because of what those two meant and who they were and who they are as far as in their legacy, how much did that mean to you?
Oh, it was huge. It was just the mountain to climb there. How do you do justice to those kind of figures in history? And on top of that, they're both not just Baylor graduates, they're Baylor lettermen, both Baylor football players. So there was so many tie-ins with how important those two figures were. It was that in itself was monumental. And after doing it as long as I've done it, 3 decades, David, I knew I was ready for that challenge, but it was overwhelming to try to. What you want to do is sculpt what's inside the person. That's really what you're after. Is contradictory as it sounds, but it was huge. But we pulled it off. I'm very happy with that work. Everybody at Baylor is thrilled with it. I continue to hear good things about those two sculptures that we've placed there.
I guess the question is, some people are born with, they can draw, they can paint, they can do a lot of things. People have the ability just to sing. They have incredible voices. Is this just a God-given something for you? I know it's not just like, boom, you got to have hard work. You had to learn even along the way. But was this a God-given ability?
Yeah, David, I have some Native American blood, and there's just a real strong artistic gene that flows through that culture. So I hit the ground with some talent that, you know yourself, whether an athlete or a scholar or whatever, there's a whole lot of work that people don't see behind the curtain that goes into, anything that approaches greatness. You got to work and develop that talent into something. And there's a lot of technique with Brook Sculptor. So I'm fond of saying 97% of this is technique. The other 3% is where the poetry takes over. And I can describe to you technique-wise how to do this, but the part that really sets my work apart is something I can't really explain so easily.
Yep. Well, you do an incredible job. What you did with the Medal of Honor, Baylor alums, is incredible, and also the statue that I've seen. And I'd like to show it, but I'd rather obviously respect the privacy of the event tomorrow. I guess I have one other question. Like, if an artist makes a mistake, if like in the middle of a painting they can regroup or whatever, what happens if something gets chipped off? Or this might be a crazy question. What happens if a mistake is made or something occurs to the statue? What do you do? How do you kind of overcome that?
Well, you mean when it's being originated in clay?
Yes, sir.
Well, at that point, you can basically erase, start over. I mean, I've torn those things down and started completely over more than once. I'm really a brutal critic of my own work. So that's at this stage when you can some mistakes you can correct, some you just have to start over with,
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of what I consider the winning edge is all those little micro adjustments that I make before I release it. By the time it comes out of my studio, it's museum quality work every time.
Good luck. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. You did a remarkable job. I know the Teaff family is thrilled, and appreciate you jumping on to kind of describe it, and also what it means to you, is what it's going to mean as well to McMurry University.
Always a pleasure, David. Good luck to you, Sic'Em.
Dan Brook Sculptor, the Medal of Honor recipients, Kane and Loomis on the campus at Baylor, and also one that will be unveiled tomorrow, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at McMurry University, of a tall, lean, young Grant Teaff. Sic'Em, 365 Radio and 365 Sports. Aaron Suttles, theathletic.com on Alabama Spring. Next, back in a moment. The city of Woodway has the Carleen Bright Auditorium, the Pavilion, the Carleen Bright Arena that's at the Pavilion in Woodway. Why do I bring it up? Because you could host incredible events.